Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Kentucky Route Zero. Ooh. See what happens if I click this, just because I'm not quite sure what to do next. An untouched drink sits on the table, forgotten or abandoned or simply wasted. Oh, nothing happens. Okay. Oh, wait, the dock. Alright, I think I see where we're supposed to go. How does that make you feel, boo-boo? Should have grabbed a picnic basket. Oh. Well, that was a pleasant detour. Yes, ma'am. Ready to get moving? How about you round up the old man, if you can tear him free? Alright, let's go back to Conway, which is who we just left. I sounded angry there. That wasn't my intention. Oh, man, this place was really beautiful. Kid is just bolting around everywhere. You know what? I'm just going to take a pensive moment here. Let's just, how could you not love this? Yeah, you're right about that. Never quite thought of it that way. Weird radio fuzz coming through. Who are you talking to? Oh, no, it's nothing. Hey, let's get out of here. Work to be done, right? Alright, moving on. Where to next, Kentucky Route Zero? Oh, even this, it's just so uniquely done and presented that I can't help but be charmed by some squiggly lines that make a river and a boat. It's so different. I like it. This makes me want to go back in time and actually start Oxenfree from scratch and do it for you guys. But for me, I think, and let me know what you think, I think it would be a silent playthrough. There's so much talking in that game, and it's all voiced, so I feel like talking through a lot of it wouldn't be smart. It's easy to miss, but beneath that quarter-acre swarm of moths, that's Gortina pidiocampa, the prominent heart and club moth. Their diet is mostly constrained to lichen, but they make an exception for sunflowers. It is a quarter-acre sunflower orchard, and beneath that sunflower orchard there are two small lots with small houses, positioned just about butt right up against each other. The houses are empty now of human life. There's no sign of a person or anything living except for moths and overgrowth. There are some pipes bolted into the cave wall near the perimeter, and a few stone scars where other pipes have been ripped away by scavengers. These once supported the large grow lamps that fed the sunflowers. The lamps are gone now. Once this crop of sunflowers is picked away, it's unlikely anything else will grow here but lichen, moss, and rock formations. The prominent heart and club moth will move on. The houses will be visible again, at least until somebody strips them for building materials or the river washes them away. The houses were once inhabited by two sisters. Why they built their houses so close together or lived in any proximity at all is a mystery, since they clearly despised one another. It's possible the neighboring houses were an attempt at reconciliation. I would go with some people think they were tricked into buying the houses. Maybe by an unscrupulous real estate agent, or more likely a concerned family member. It stands to reason this sororal rift would have sent ripples of discomfort through the rest of the familial pool. Anytime these sisters were in the same room, the tension was incendiary, or so I hear. All that energy had to go somewhere, and both sisters had the same idea. They took up gardening. They both cultivated sunflowers, an improbable crop for this location. Too improbable to be a coincidence. Maybe the sunflower had some special meaning for them, or maybe when one sister saw her rival sowing the impossible seeds, she knew at once she couldn't bear to be outdone. Which sister had the greener thumb, we'll never know. The stalks tangled, the roots knotted, and the seeds mixed. Those gangly sunflowers merged the two lots into one undifferentiated field. The two sisters moved out, probably around the time the moths started showing up. Of course, there was no selling the lots then, overgrown and bug-chewed as they are. In fact, if those sisters ever tried to sell, they'd be in for a rude shock. Not long ago, a property tax clerk, having seen the two adjoining lots registered to the same last name, presumed they belonged to the same owner and erased the legal border between them. Love the oddball little stories. I'm very glad to know that this game is getting done, even if it came at a strange time, as in relation to me starting the game. Ooh. Valkyrie in blue lounged below deck. Let's see what happens. The Mucky Mammoth. Oh, what a game. I don't think I would point out, I like the little hand cursor. What did I do? Oh, okay. That was the scene. While those two gentle beasts kept things under control aboard the Mucky Mammoth, I went ashore with the rest of the crew to make use of a public telephone. I called into my answering machine, which I routinely neglect for intervals of months, to chip away at the pile. Kate checked in on a client of hers. She's a birth doula, in addition to being a tugboat captain. Did you know that? Clara talked to her sister in Lithuania. Illness in the family, I gather. Anyway, the evening hit a low point not much later on, so let's take a quiet moment here to listen to the river and reflect on the unburdened sleep of dogs. Uh-oh. Deep breath, and here we go. We're hitting a low point at some point. Oh, it's oddly peaceful. Like, it really is. It's an oddly peaceful journey game, and I like it. I'm guessing we're going here. Oh. Let's, it sounds weird. I'm going to go with Ezra taught us a card game. That sounds more fun. Seems like this episode might be quite a few just little maybe cutscene-y things. I don't know. The one with the dogs was cute, though. Who's going to complain? Blue's a good girl. Clara draws a card. 3 deep breaths, 8 white doves, 5 slow hours. Kate draws a card. 7 blue petals, 3 deep breaths, 8 white doves, 5 slow hours. What are we listening to? Oh, just this tape a friend of mine sent me. They live in the desert. Vasinks? Something like that. Sounds good on the Mammoth's PA. Yeah, it's the only way I listen to anything lately. Haha. Your turn, buddy. Ezra draws a card. Nine gray feathers, 7 blue petals, 3 deep breaths, 8 white doves, 5 slow hours. Will draws a card. 9 gray feathers. Stay focused. No, I've got it. 7 blue petals and 5. Oh no, it was 9, 7, 3. This game is more difficult than it sounds, my friend. You still did pretty good. We're only how many cards in now? 5 or something? I assume it will go to 52? It goes until everyone forgets a card. That could go on a long time then. Well, not with this crowd, I guess. We're all too soggy-brained. I know I am. I even take homemade supplements for it. Shade-grown, lichen boiled with the peel of a lemon, then frozen and crushed with oak leaves. It's a scalp massage oil. You can smell it if I get close. It dries the brain out a bit, which is helpful for a good memory, if I can remember to use it often enough in the first place. Oh, don't worry. The soggy brain has its benefits too. If your brain is soft and damp, new ideas can make a clear impression, like a boot in wet sand. But, like wet sand, it can easily get muddied and washed away, so there's a trade-off, see? It's a shame we can't have it both ways, isn't it? What's this game called, Ezra? Forgetting game. Well, title of the episode. Kate likes to give her passengers the opportunity to make some floating around money, and that lab pays cash in small envelopes upon completion of a little gauntlet of non-invasive tests. It's a project of the university. I think they're studying. I don't remember. The Mammoth also collects their trash, mostly shredded paper, though Kate says once they left half the vending machine on the dock. But nobody seemed too interested in the lab stop that night. They stayed aboard and played a card game. I read a book. Let me tell you about it. It's set in a small town in the Pacific Northwest. The town is never named, but it's colorfully described. Woolly fog, broken coastline, provincial shopkeepers. The main characters are mail carriers. They're co-workers, Mimi and Jen. Mimi is older than Jen, but they seem to be at the same point in their lives. They like their work. They have a playfully antagonistic relationship with their boss. I actually only read a bit from the middle. Jen reminisces about a cat she'd lost track of. It's a sweet and uncomplicated passage. Human affection for animals is a good model for pure compassion. In my life's work as Echoes River premier anecdotalist, I've always found that with a carefully excerpted moment is more powerful than any epic history. That's my excuse anyway for reading books from the inside out. So I stopped there. My eyelids were getting heavy. We were heading back to the lake and chance encounter with the Iron Pariah. I feel like we are really close to the end. Something about this just feels like, yep, we're there. It's almost done. And I'm a little sad. I know there's another act coming out, and that'll get up quickly after it comes out. I'm not going to sit on it for a while. I want to get through the entire game, and this will be the first one. And I know it's not like a complicated game to get through, but this will be the first game that I play beginning to end for the channel, and for me, that's a really big milestone. So I'm pretty excited. Ezra helped Kate forage for mushrooms. I like how it's doing this and is sort of getting us to the end with these little snippet scenes. I really like it a lot. Oh, and the game is just so simply pretty. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. Oh, whoa. That's different. Okay. What? Something's going on here. She lit a second cigarette with the embers of the first one. She trembled, sweating a little under a heavy coat. It was warmer near the doors, but she was following directions. No smoking within 25 feet of the hospital entrance. Kate gently rolls a fallen branch and plucks something white from the underside. She holds it up for Ezra to examine. What's going on with this? She stood by a hot dog cart parked at the edge of the sidewalk. Guys, I can't pronounce that. The common name is angel wings. These words, I'll give you guys a second. The common name is angel wings. Isn't that pleasant? They have a delicate, springy texture and they're tasty, like sweet moss. Would you like a bite? Sweet moss doesn't sound very tasty to me. Personally, I like to be able to tell where my food comes from, by flavor alone. I like to taste my surroundings. I mean, it keeps me connected to the whole thing. My mushroom hunting mentor told me it's useless to pretend to know mushrooms. They escape your erudition. The more you know them, the less sure you feel about identifying them. She taps the cover of the small red book she's carrying. That's why I always bring my favorite guidebook. Okay, nothing over there. Kate points to a small mushroom growing in the dirt. Oh, here's an important one to recognize, though. Look, see the sort of greenish pallor of the cap? Amanita phalloides? That's Greek. Amanita means mushroom, and phalloides means never mind. Can you eat it? Only once. It's deadly poisonous. Death cap. That's the common name. It's killed a lot of people, this little mushroom, including a few Roman emperors. It's a revolutionary. Even the Buddha died from eating a mushroom when he was very old. That's just what they do. Clear away old things, make room for new things. Pretty important, right? I've always thought they deserved a little more respect. Would you like to help me look for a few more? I have a sort of shopping list. Great. Look for... Actually, just grab any mushrooms that catch your eyes and throw them in this bag. Let me know when you're done, and we'll see what you've got. Have fun. That's the second rule of mushroom hunting. The first rule is ask Kate before eating anything, okay? Oh my god, this is trippy. Okay, Woo! Rubbing my temples here. Kate examines some tree roots. She spots a couple of intriguing growths along roots of the tree, a speckled white ball, and a cluster of softly glowing amber caps. The hot dog vendor tried to strike up a conversation with some immediately too personal questions. She decided to give him the benefit of the doubt, maybe considering it's part of his job, she thought, to offer his customers some kind of counsel. Maybe it was to salve his guilty conscience for selling junk food outside of a hospital. Ezra checks out a plastic bag washed up on the island. The bag is ragged and waterlogged. He nudges it with a stick, coiling up a plastic thread and spreading it out on the beach. He didn't like to play in the house. It was always too cold. It seemed to store up the cold at night, then slowly discharge it into his bones during the day. While the sun bounced feebly off his windows. But he liked to play in the woods behind the house. He'd taken a knife from the kitchen, selected for its long serrated edge, meant for slicing bread. Its teeth reminded him of a saw blade. He was determined to collect some firewood to heat the house. There are no mushrooms in the bag. Glowing amber caps. The mushrooms are slick, sticky to the touch, like they're covered in smoldering honey. I'm going to leave the tree roots alone. Kate kneels in the grass. Okay. Digs up a bare patch of dirt. It's a bit muddy from flooding or the general dampness of the caves. She finds two promising specimens, a spotted brown cap and a dense bundle of dark ridges. Ezra investigates a rotting stump. The stump is ringed with overlapping shelves of mushrooms, striped brown, blue, gray, white. A caterpillar crawls along one of them. He didn't have any friends nearby. None of them knew their neighbors. None of their new neighbors seemed to have children his age, so he played alone in the woods, alone except for a deer. Ezra inspects the caterpillar. The caterpillar shuffles listlessly across the mushroom. It seems to be dragging several of its legs. An odd brown-black thread protrudes about 2 inches out of its head. He saw strange lights in the trees, flickering purple. He kept going. Just going to leave the tree stump. Ezra closes his eyes and listens to the water and the distant clicking of bats. Has she ever tried any alternative medicines, acupuncture, homeopathy, Ayurveda, magical thinking? She said she never heard of any of those things. He fished a stray hot dog out of the pickle jar. Kate inspects the dense bundle of dark ridges. Dark brown ridges and folds cover the surface of the mushroom. It has a pleasant, almost fruity smell. Kate plucks the mushroom from the dirt and puts it in her bag. Oh, okay, whoa. Kate tries to wipe some mud off of her boot. He tripped on a protruding root and lay for a while in the mud, examining the pale upper branches of a sycamore tree, listening to the soft rumble of a faraway thunderstorm. Then louder, closer, and his hair stood on end, and there was the bird. Kate tries to wipe some mud off of her boot. Didn't find anything? That's okay. I just found this one. She takes the dense bundle of dark ridges out of her bag. This one I can't really use, but I picked it just to show you. It looks a lot like a very popular eating mushroom around these parts called a morel, but it's not a morel. She slices the mushroom in half lengthwise. It's full of white fiber, the consistency of cotton. This is the easiest way to tell them apart. The real morel is empty. This one, the false morel, is actually kind of poisonous. Forget what its effects are exactly. Here, let's check the Vermilion book. She flips to the pages of her guidebook. Okay, here it is. Symptoms include wanting to fight, demanding answers, dryness of eyes, nose, and lips, restless sleep. Dreams of flood, rolling stones, accidents, people transforming into owls, vampires, rockets, and traveling to the stars. Doesn't sound so bad, actually. Kate puts the mushroom back in her bag. So, you have a brother out there somewhere? Julian, he's going to come find me in the morning after the work is done. Yep. We work pretty hard. We used to spend a part of each night looking for my folks, but now we pretty much just work. But maybe that'll change now. I have some new friends. Do you have a family? I left home when I was very young, not much older than you, actually. I bounced around jobs and shelters and finally found my way down to the Echo River. Never looked back. I've basically been on my own since then. Well, that's not really true. Just about everyone who sets foot aboard the Mucky Mammoth feels like family to me now. I guess if nobody's family, then everybody's family. What's this island for? It looks like someone made it on purpose. Alright, it's kind of a nice, simple shape, pleasantly minimal island geometry. Months later, she came across a book on homeopathic medicine in a used bookstore and bought it. She thought it was mostly bullshit, but found the author's notes on the unpredictability of mushrooms immediately compelling, spiritual even. She started collecting mushrooms on hikes, never eating them, just collecting, identifying, and discarding. Eventually, she connected with the Lexington Mycological Society and began to study in earnest the medicinal uses of fungi. I'm sure it could be natural, though. I mean, I don't know if the island itself is man-made or not, but I guess I don't know much about this place, really. It's supposed to be some kind of memorial to something. Will would know more. Sorry, it's a mystery. Ezra kicks the dirt. It's a mystery. I'll search for clues. She put out her cigarette, said goodbye to the hot dog vendor, and spent the rest of the afternoon listening to doctors and trying to understand the world as they did. A list of discrete injuries to be mended. Ezra examines a large stone monument. The monument is covered with lichen and painted text. Rock graffiti. XO, X+O, forever. Let's investigate the cypress tree. The tree smells spicy, oily. Ezra looks up into the branches. Some of the branches have been trimmed recently. Ezra inspects the contents of his pot. Alright, what have you got? That stone-faced monument has X+O forever painted on it. Interesting. What do you think that means? Hug and kiss forever? Or they could be initials. Xavier and Olivia forever. Xerxes and Oliver? Xerxes? What do you think that monument is for? I'm not sure anyone remembers. The branches in the tree are trimmed. Oh, good observation. So I guess somebody's still taking care of this place. Just practicing their tree trimming somewhere out of the way. Well, Ezra, I can't say I know what that all adds up to. Like I said, I wish Will were here. He'd have some local history for us. And we can ask him back on the boat. Kate and Ezra look up at an old battleship drifting by. Oh, there it is, the Iron Pariah. Don't worry, it's just passing by. I don't know much about it, but I've heard things. Firsthand, but I've heard things. Supposedly there's nobody even aboard. No people, I mean. Wait, okay, we're missing stuff over here. Ezra's parents shook him awake. They seemed alarmed, but not immediately concerned. They led him back to the house, past the house, into the car. I mean, there's nobody. Supposedly, there's nobody even on board. No people. I mean, there must be something out there on there. Life is everywhere. Rats, insects, some kind of hardy mold. Part of it could be flooded and hosts some of the eyeless fish that live in the echo. Hey, maybe there are some mushrooms growing in there, slowly consuming military rations from over 100 years ago. Someone told me she got close to it by accident and heard a strange wailing sound. She was a passenger on the Mammoth. She said she'd been out fishing on a rowboat and got swept up by a current near Cluttered Place. Before she knew it, the Iron Pariah was upon her, unimaginably massive, up close, but eerily silent. The only sound, she said, were the lapping of the lake water against its iron hull, and a faint sort of, well, she said a chorus of mews. I'll be damned if I know what that sounds like, haha. I've never gotten close enough to the ship myself. More mysteries, they do pile up over time as people forget the details. Thanks for taking me mushroom picking. Mushroom hunting. You can pick apples because they're right out there in the open. Mushrooms hide. You have to hunt for them. Dad said they were going to stay at the bus station for a while, the one with the little arcade with the car game he liked. Dad watched him closely in the rearview mirror, expecting Ezra to be excited or confused or scared. But he didn't feel anything. He hardly seemed to hear. In fact, he felt like he was observing the family car from a distance, from far above, from the clouds. Alright guys, we're going to call this episode here. Wow, that was really interesting. I really liked the dynamic, even if it was kind of hard to keep up with reading it to you guys. I'm actually kind of getting sad that we're getting close to the end of what's available at this moment, because I'll be done before the new one comes out. Thank you guys for watching. Be good to each other. Be good to yourselves. And take care of yourself. And whatever time of day you're watching this, I hope it's good. Have a good time. See you guys later. Thank you for watching.